Shalom, shalom, Israel. This is Brother Noah coming at you live with some precepts about this upcoming Heathen holidays. First of all, I want to give all praises and honor to the Most High and the Son of Hamashiach Wamalak Yahushai. And shalom to the Ox and Akwas out there. Shalom to the mighty men that are out on the highways and byways, out there serving the Lord, out there feeding the lost sheep, and sacrificing their lives, Lord. Sacrificing their lives for the Lord. Putting their lives on the line for the Lord, man. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. Our topic today is going to be holidays, New Year's / Christmas, or it can be watch out for these upcoming heathen holidays, whatever we title it. All right, the first, because we know that these new holidays coming up are very deceptive. Because first of all, Christmas, it's right around the corner. All these other people are off there buying gifts, wasting money, for something that doesn't even benefit them in any way. They just waste money just for their child or for someone else just to throw it away or something like that, like in a week, or for them to break it, But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to open up with Proverbs 7 and 1-2. Proverbs chapter 7, verse 1. Oh, wait. Sorry, I already. Here. And it says, "My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee." So we're supposed to keep the Lord's commandments, Keep my commandments and live in my law as the apple of thine eye. We're supposed to see the Lord's laws and his commandments as an apple of thine eye. When something is the apple to your eye, it catches your attention. It draws you near. It's like a treasure to you. And that's how these laws are supposed to be. Because these laws will also give us wisdom and knowledge and understanding too. And we're going to go get that in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5-6. Alright, and this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. "Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me." So the Lord taught us statutes and judgments. So like this is Moses telling the people. Yeah. Wait. So like we are taught these laws and statutes and judgments, by the Lord. And it says that ye should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. So yeah, we're supposed to be doing these laws, statutes, and commandments. "Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding." And the law, statutes, commandments are wisdom and understanding. That's how we get wisdom, by doing these law, statutes, and commandments. It's like your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, they're going to hear all these statutes, they're going to notice that we're doing all these things, and they're going to say, "Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people." Because these other nations are going to be noticing that we are a wise and understanding people, because we are under these wise and understanding laws that the Lord has gave us, like it. Because the law of the Lord is perfect. The law of the Lord is perfect. There's no flaws in it. There's no contradiction. So when we followed these back then, we were a great people. We were a great nation above all the others. But yeah. Now we know that. We gotta know that wisdom is the principle of all things as well. That's why it's so important. That's why it's so important to keep the laws too. We're going to go to Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7 for that. Proverbs 4 and 7. Salaki. It's taking a while. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7. "Wisdom is the principal thing." So it's a very important and basic thing to have. "Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding." Because when you have wisdom, you start to have understanding as well. That's why it's so important to have that. That's why I also brought it out before this class, before I brought out the major topic of this class too. Because you have to be able to understand what I'm about to bring out, and able to understand it, you have to have wisdom. And the way to have, and able to have wisdom, you have to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. That's why I'm bringing this all out right now. But let's go ahead and open up this class. First, we're gonna go to 1 Corinthians 10 and 21. Because we can't be having all these other. We can't be Israelites. I'm not Salaki. We can't be following the Lord if we're still celebrating all these other holidays or all these other heathen customs. You can't be half and half. You know, you can't be lukewarm in this thing. You're either hot or you're cold. You're either in it or you're out. And we're gonna get that. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 21. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. See, you can't drink both. And we're going to see why. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with... Oh, Salakia. I went up too fast. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. So that's basically reiterating what it just said. This is verse... Now we're at verse chapter... Salakia. Now we're at 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 22. Now, do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? Like, if you're gonna, because that's gonna make the Lord jealous. Because the Lord is a jealous God. That's for certain. And if we're also sitting at the table of devils or drinking the cup of devils as well, being partakers of the cup of devils, we will be serving basically other gods. When the Lord said that we're his and none else. We can't be serving all these other gods if we're just his. Because that's going to make him jealous and that's going to make him angry. And it says, like it says, do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? Because no one else is stronger than him. So why would you even provoke him to do that? Because that's something that can get you killed by the Lord. You know? And a precept for that is Matthew 6 and 24. Let's go get that. Look at Matthew chapter 6 verse 24. And it reads, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one, so he's going to hate one master, and love the other, so he's going to love the other one, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. So it's either going to be, he's going to love one of the masters, or he's going to hate the other. And he's going to hate the other, he's going to love that one and hate the other. You cannot serve God and Mammon. Mammon is also going into another god, which is basically saying you can't serve God and other philosophies and other false gods as well. Because you either going to hate one and love the other, or love the other. And the Lord wants us to love him and hate those other false gods. He doesn't want us to love both, because it doesn't work like that. We can't be lukewarm in this. But with that, we're going to go to Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. But Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. It's lucky if it takes a while. Alright. This is the book of Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. So you gotta watch out for all these other nations or other people trying to allure you into all these other philosophies. You gotta be vigilant and make sure that you're not caught up in that thing. Because all of it is just vain deceit. It's lies that aren't gonna help you. That's the thing. It's just lies that aren't gonna help you. And read on. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men. After the tradition of the men, as in going into all these false philosophies and false gods, after the rudiments of the world and not after Christ. So if it's not after Christ, if it's not for the Lord Yahweh and His Son Mashiach Wamalak Yahushai, then there's no point there's no point of chasing after that. You know, we're not chasing after. We're not Muslims in this thing. We're not going to be worshiping no cube, you know, nor no stone, it's like a stone or what it is, whatever it is. But anyways, let's go ahead and go to Jeremiah 10, chapter 10, verse 1. Now we know that we're not supposed to be chasing after these philosophies. We're supposed to, in fact, be away from those, get away from them, if as far as possible, if possible. Anyways, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. Now this is going into the Christmas customs that the America's been pushing on us and on other nations too. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you. So listen to what the Lord's trying to speak to you. O house of Israel, thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. Don't learn the ways of the heathen. Doesn't matter what it is. Do not learn their ways. Do not study them. Do not go into it. Do not worship it. Don't do any of it. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Don't be dismayed at the signs of heaven. That can go into, the judgments that the Lord bring down on them, on other nations, on wicked nations, on the heathen nations. Don't be dismayed at them, but the heathen are going to be, because they don't have the understanding. The reason why we're not dismayed at it is because we have the scriptures for it that tells what the Lord will do, how the Lord's going to do it. We have the scriptures that prophesy what the Lord's going to do. They're gonna. It's showing us basically. This is basically showing us the Lord's instructions to life, and how to live it, and what's gonna happen throughout it. Anyways, let's go on. Verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain, which means they're for nothing. They're vain. Vain goes into nothing. So their customs don't help with anything. They don't help with anything but to drag us down as a nation. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest. So, you're going to cut a tree out of the forest, right? The work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. So you're cutting down a tree with the axe, right? And you're carrying it home. Verse 4. They deck it with silver and with gold. So they're going to decorate it, right? They're going to decorate this tree. They're going to decorate this tree with silver and gold and all these other ornaments, They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. So yeah, they're gonna hammer down that tree to the bottom of the floor. That way it won't move. It's gonna start withering though later on in the years, but they don't care for that as long as they have their little decoration done. To follow this vain philosophy and this vain custom that the heathens love so much. Verse 5. They are upright as the palm tree. So yeah, the tree's gonna be upright, but speak not. They must needs be born, as in it's gonna be what the tree needs is gonna be like carried away from them, because they cannot go, because they can't really go back, because they're nailed back, they're nailed down in the house or wherever it is. So they're not gonna have water or sunlight or anything like that. That's what the plant needs. They're not gonna have water or sunlight. Be not afraid of them. Don't be afraid of that custom or anything, for they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good. It's not evil and it's not good either, which means there's no point. They're vain. It's a vain custom. There's no reason to be doing it. There's no reason to be doing that custom because it doesn't help you. In fact, it does. It can partake in evil too, because it's going into following the ways of the heathen. It's going to follow the ways of the heathen, and you're not supposed to do any of that, which is a sin to follow false gods, because that will make the Lord jealous. Because Christmas goes into a different kind of philosophy, but I need to study that more. So Salakia on my behalf for that. But let's go to Jeremiah 7 and 18 real quick. I probably should have pulled this sooner. Salakia for that. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 7, verse 18. The children gather wood. So the children are gathering wood, and the fathers kindle the fire. So yeah, the fathers making like the fire. It could be in the chimney or whatever. And women need their dough. So yeah, they're cooking. The women are cooking and all that to make cakes to the queen of heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods. They're doing all this. It may look good and all that. Yeah, the children are getting wood. The husband's, kindling the fire. The woman's making food and all that. But it's for a vain custom. It's for a vain deceit. It's not for our God. It's for other gods, like it just said. Let me read it again. To make cakes to the queen of heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. All these things that they're doing is going to provoke the Lord to anger. It's going to make him upset. It's going to make him mad. You know, and we don't want that to happen. We don't want to kindle. We don't want to kindle a fire in the Lord, because he's gonna punish us. You know, he's gonna put us under curses. You know, he's gonna kill some of our people too, to punish us and show us, hey, you can't be messing with any of that. That's nothing you should be messing with. But anyways, Slakia. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 31. Proverbs 3 and 31. Oh, whoops, I went too far. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. We're not supposed to be jealous of what Esau or Moab or Ishmael or Ham has. We're not supposed to be jealous of what any of they have. We're not supposed to be craving to go chase after their stuff, their philosophies, their customs. We're not supposed to be wanting any of that. Because it said before, we're not supposed to be following the heathen nations. We're not supposed to be doing any of that. But yet, a lot of our people, a lot of our 2/3 are in Christianity. You know, they're in Muslim. They claim to be Muslims and all that. That's what a big chunk of our 2/3 is: Christianity and Muslim. But they don't understand. They just don't understand that, because when they hear that they're chosen people of a chosen nation, given with an actual God, the one and only God that's only theirs, and he's only ours. And he's not the God of anyone else. He's the only actual real God. He's not the God of anyone else but us. We're his chosen people. And he made us the best out of all the rest of the people. But for some reason, a big chunk of us think, oh no, I don't want that. How do you not want that? I don't see it. I just can't see it. How do they not want that? How do you not want to be part of the best people in the world? It's because they envy their oppressors. They want to be just like them. They want to be just like the white man. They want to blonde their hair and all that. They want to celebrate Christmas. They want to celebrate all these other holidays so they can fit in with them, you know, because it looks so cool, and they get gifts and stuff like that. They don't want to serve the one true and real God, Yahweh. But anyways, now that we got that, let's go to Deuteronomy 13 and 6. Deuteronomy chapter 13 and verse 6. It's like it. Alright. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13 and verse 6. And this is going into for the people that try to drag you down to do what they want to do, try to entice you to do what they're doing. You know, like people try to make you come over for the holidays. You know, oh, you don't have to celebrate anything. You can just be in the room or anything. You don't have to celebrate. No. No, you still can't be doing it. They're going to be enticing you, and this is what's going to happen to them. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13 and verse 6. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or his wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers. So this verse is going into if anyone that you know, or if anyone at all is trying to entice you to serve these other gods or these other philosophies or these other customs or celebrate these other holidays that is not of the Lord and is not part of his laws, and that your father hasn't known, we're going to see what happens. Namely, of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee, from the one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. So yeah, these gods are going to be basically everywhere, because there's false gods everywhere. There's false gods everywhere that try to catch our people's eye. You know, all these other customs, all these other philosophies that try to entice us. Let's read on. Thou shalt not consent unto him. Means don't listen to him. Don't trust him. Don't believe in him. nor hearken unto him. Yeah, don't listen to him. Neither shall thine eye pity him. Don't pity him. Neither shalt thou spare. Neither shalt thou conceal him. Now, don't listen to him. Don't pity him for the judgment that's about to come to him, because this is what will happen. Verse 9. But thou shalt surely kill him. Thine hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people. Back then, judgment for that was death. If you try to entice your brethren or your sisters into serving these other gods and all that, you'll be put to death. So yeah, it's not a good thing to do that. It's not a good thing to try to show your nation, your fellow brethren and your sister, hey, we should do this because they got all this stuff, they have all this cool stuff. That's going into envying the oppressor. So we don't want to do any of that. But now got that, let's go to Exodus 12 and 1 to 2, because now we basically got Christmas, cut down. Got that out of our nation's heads, Let's go ahead and get this New Year and the January 1st stuff. Because first of all, January 1st is not the first day of the year. It's not the first day of the year. It's not the first month of the year. Yeah, not the first month of the year. And it doesn't make sense for it to be, because it's in winter. But I'm gonna get more into that here in a minute. Let's go to Exodus chapter 12 verse 1. This is the book of Exodus chapter 12 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this is the Lord speaking to Moses and Aaron, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. So this month they're talking about, this is the month of Passover. This is the Passover, by the way. That the Lord is speaking to him. This is going to be the first month. This is going to be the first month. It shall be the first month of the year to you. That's our first month. Now let's go get the internet connection. I don't know what happened. Probably Esau. Alright. So we're going to go see what this first month is. Let's go to Exodus chapter 13 and verse 1, I believe. Verse 3. Yeah, verse 3. Let's go to Exodus chapter 13 and verse 3. And Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which ye came out from Egypt. So remember this. Remember this day that the Lord brought you out of Egypt. Out of the house of bondage. So out of the house of slavery. For by strength of hand the Lord brought you out from this place. He's saying, but remember when the day that the Lord brought you out of Egypt, out of our first captivity. There shall no leavened bread be eaten. So this is going into, remember, the Passover. When we don't eat leavened bread for, I believe, a week. If I'm not mistaken. Salaki if I am. This day came ye out in the month Abib. Abib is the first month. That was read in Exodus 12 and 1 to 2. That's the first month. It's known as Abib. So Abib would be going into March or April, because that's whenever spring starts. And I say March or April because some people agree that it's March, some people agree that it's April. Some people, yeah. But I'm going to go with March, because that's whenever spring starts. Because it makes more sense, since March is the beginning of spring. And spring is whenever everything is brought out of animals are brought out of hibernation, and plants start to grow and bloom fruits. You're able to farm your crops again, stuff like that. It wouldn't make sense for the new year to start when everything's still dead or hibernating. It wouldn't make sense. But that's what Esau made us think. In fact, in the first thing is and I did some research in the first month about who made January 1st and who made the new year. I'm going to read that to you. And it says, in 46 BCE, the Roman Emperor Julius Caesar, and we know that the Romans were also the Edomites, but that's even more deep into history that I need to study more. Salaki on my behalf. The Roman Emperor Julius Caesar first established January 1st as the New Year's Day. So in 46 BC, Julius Caesar made January 1st the New Year's Day. As January was the Roman god of doors and gates. January also into Janus. That was the name of the philosophy or the false god that they worship. And Janus was also the false god of new beginnings and transitions. So that's why they made January 1st in his name, because they marked it as the new year, because that was what they believed, the new beginning and transitions, because they're false god Janus. As January was the Roman god of doors and gates and had two faces, one looking forward and one back. So that's just a little brief description of their god. And the reason why they were able to push this onto people, because they were able to push this out to more and more people, because they had a Gregorian calendar that they pushed to other nations. And the reason why they were able to do this is because they were blessed with the sword. Esau was blessed with the sword, and Roman was a mighty empire at the time. And let's go get that in Genesis 27 and 38. Look at Genesis chapter 27 and verse 38. And Esau was blessed with the sword. This is the book of Genesis chapter 27 and verse 38. Verse 38. And this is shortly after Jacob received his blessing from Isaac. And if you read more into it, you find out why he's, kind of begging his father for a blessing. Genesis chapter 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, Isaac, hast thou but one blessing? My father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his eyes, lifted up his voice and wept. So yeah, he's begging his father for a blessing. Because Jacob, the story is kind of funny. Jacob ended up disguising himself as Esau to receive his blessing, which is already predestined to happen by the Lord. Well, let's read on. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. So his dwellings, as in Esau's homes and all that, they're going to be the fatness of the earth. They're going to have good homes. They're going to have good land. Like, nowadays, Esau, they be living in the richest and the best parts of the earth. They be living in big houses, good land, having great big empires, stuff like that. In the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword shalt thou live. They will live by the sword. They'll live by conquering. That's how they did. You can see that even now. They have multiple military bases spread out into different nations. I'm not sure about all nations, but I'm pretty sure most nations all have that one U.S. Military branched out into them, just so the U.S. can keep those people in line. The U.S. is keeping other nations in line because they are blessed with the sword. Esau is able to do that. That's why. Let's read on. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Alright. But yeah, that's going into that's Esau was blessed with the sword. That's what I was mainly trying to bring out. The Esau was blessed with the sword. That's why they were able to push out that Gregorian calendar, if I'm correct. Yeah, the Gregorian calendar out to the other nations, and they still do that now. Like you slowly but surely, all these other nations are growing accustomed to America. All these other nations are celebrating Christmas, maybe New Year's, Easter, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna read some more about this about Julius Caesar making January 1st. And it says, Julius Caesar celebrated January 1st by ordering the violent routing of revolutionary Jew forces in the Galilee, slaughtering of the Israelites. He celebrated it he celebrated January 1st as the victory of the Israelites. So people don't know that that when we celebrate January 1st, that's not just going into a new year, that's also celebrating our downfall. Romans' victory over us. You know, they might pop a little bottle like, Happy New Year, da 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 da. But they don't know that it's celebrating your own downfall. They don't know that it's celebrating your own nation's downfall. Celebrating January 1st goes into celebrating Romans' victory over Israel. Alright. And it says this. And later on in the years back then, they also celebrated in a kind of inaccurate way that we celebrate it now. That other people nowadays celebrate it. And here's how they celebrate it. And it's disgusting. Romans then celebrated January 1st from that point on by having drunken orgies. And if you know what that is, then you know what that is. I'm not going to go too in depth about it. But it wasn't okay. And you know who else didn't think it was okay? Paul. You can find, and we're going to get that in Romans chapter 1, verse 24. We're going to get that. Because that is not that's not okay. And this was also Israelites messing up and taking a custom to the Romans and the Roman captivity too. And you can find that, and this letter is directly, the letters of Romans was directed towards Israel. You can find that in Romans chapter 1 verse 7. And it says, to all that be in Rome, beloved of God, called to be saints. You can find who the saints are, which are the Israelites, in Psalms 148 and 14. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Yahushua Christ. So yeah, this letter is meant to the Israelites. So he was talking to the Israelites throughout the book of Romans, and he's talking to, and what I'm about to get into is him talking to them about that how they celebrated New Year on January 1st. This is what Paul's basically showing them that they're sinning, telling them, hey, you need to stop doing this because you're sinning. You know, this book of Romans chapter 1 verse 24. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts. So God gave us up to uncleanness because we were lusting after, and the heart is deceitful above all things, and the Lord was giving us up to all these other nations. They were giving, not nations, Salakia, to the philosophies of the Romans and what they believed, because we were already lusting after them. So said, all right, you want to do that? Go ahead and do it. You know, go ahead and do it. Do their vain and deceitful customs. I'm gonna read on. To dishonor their own bodies between themselves. They're dishonoring their own temple that the Lord gave them. They're supposed to sanctify your temple, not dishonor it, not Salakia. Basic. Yeah, just dishonor. I was trying to look for another word, but I kind of lost it. But yeah, they dishonored their own bodies between themselves. Verse 25. Who changed the truth of God into a lie. They were changing God's truth into a lie. They were trying to believe what the Romans told them, what the Romans were showing them. They wanted to believe that instead of the Lord. They thought what the Lord was saying was a lie. Read on. Who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator. They were worshiping and serving other things that the Lord made. Sticks and stones, man. The cross, a tree, and that cube that they worship, the stone the Muslims worship. You know, you're serving creatures and things that the Creator made. How you gonna worship what the Creator made instead of worshiping the Creator Himself, who is blessed forever? Amen. Verse 26. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections, gross stuff that your flesh lusts over, or disgusting or gross stuff that you love. For even their women did change their natural use into that which is against nature. Even though the women changed basically what was usually used for nature, they changed that into something that was against nature. During this little celebratory thing that they did. Paul is describing to them what they're doing and that it's wrong. I'm going to let y'all think about that because I'm not going to go too deep into that because that's just gross. For this cause, God gave them up into vile affections. For even their women did change their natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise, also the men. So the men too, we're not excluded from this. Leaving the natural use of the woman. So we're leaving the natural use of the woman, that they're used we need them to be able for our seed to grow, basically. So they can give birth to our seed. We need them. And we went against that nature, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another. So they were being homosexuals. Yeah. Because that's how Edomites ran. That's how Edomites swung. They were homosexuals. They were pedophiles. They were all these wicked and abominable and gross things. And Israelites were slowly going into that. Like he's describing, they were burned in lust towards one another, the men. So yeah, they were being homosexuals during this time. Even maybe afterwards. Men with men, working that which is unseemly. Because it was odd. Whenever we were in our own nation, it was odd to see. You don't see that. A man loving another man like that. That's homosexual. That's being gay. I'm sorry, it is. Men working with that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meat. So yeah, they're just sinning together. They're all just sinning together, and it's a wicked thing to do. It's an abomination. It's not something that you should even be doing. One, it's a heathen custom, and two, it goes into going against nature, and three, it's also promoting homosexuality, doing all these things that you're not supposed to be doing, and it's wrong. But we're gonna go ahead, and now that we got that, Paul basically tell them, hey, y'all doing all this and you shouldn't be doing it. It's wicked. We're gonna go to Daniel chapter 7 and 25. Daniel chapter 7 verse 25. Bear with me. We're trying to get there. Alright. So this is going into how Esau is able to control time like this. How he's able to change literal months into what they mean otherwise. Like, how he's able to change January to being the new year. Even the names. But let's read. This is the book of Daniel chapter 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. So Esau would speak great words against you. He's gonna, he has no respect for the Most High. He hates him. They follow their own thing. They follow their own philosophies. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High. And we know who the saints are. They're the Israelites. They're his servants, which are in Psalms 148 and 14. They're the servants of the Most High, the Israelites. They wear us out, but getting us in slavery, making us follow what he does, killing us in the streets, we're being worn out. And Esau's enjoying it. They're enjoying speaking against the Most High and wearing out the saints. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. The Lord, Esau is changing the times and the laws. They're able to do that, but that's because the Lord let them. He let them. They wouldn't be able to do that unless the Lord let them. You gotta think about that too. So Esau was able to do this because the Lord let them. But it's okay because we learn what the true time is, what the actual new year is. It's a Bib, which goes into spring or January, or not January. So that is not the new year. Or it goes into a Bib, which also goes into March or April. Spring, because that's whenever everything comes anew. It's renewed. Everything starts to grow again in spring. So let me read this again. And think to change times and laws. So they also change laws too. Like, you don't keep the Sabbath on Saturday, you keep it on Sunday, which is the first day of the week. That's the first day. It's not even the seventh. Or you don't have to do works. It's just work by faith and all that. They completely take a book. They completely take a whole testament out of the Bible, saying we don't need that, or just laws in general. Like, and I forgot Slovakia, but I forgot what state it was in. But they're starting to make pedophilia legal in was it California or Slovakia, but Colorado or California. They're starting to like slowly make it legal. You know, that's going into changing the laws too. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. So yeah, he's basically saying the Esau is going to be able to control these times. Esau and maybe the other nations, but as far as I know, it's Esau. They're able to change the times. They're able to control it. Heck, they made it to where a new day starts after 12, when it strikes 12 at midnight. When we all know that it starts whenever the sun goes down. The new day starts when the sun goes down. But that's for a different class. But with that, I'm going to say shalom. That's the end of the class. But I do encourage, we try to encourage more people to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, you know, to get wisdom, you know, which is the principle of all things, which we learned in the beginning of class. But yeah, so I'm going to give y'all a law. We're going to go to Exodus chapter 20 and verse 3. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 3. This is the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Yeah, it's a law. It's a law. You can't have no other gods before him. You can't. It even said that in multiple verses that I've read to you. Don't follow the ways of the heathen. You know, they have vain customs, vain deceit. You know, so you can't follow. It says it throughout. We can't follow the ways of the heathen. Don't follow any other gods. Don't worship any other gods. Don't have any idols. You know, because all this will make the Lord is a jealous God. When he's jealous, he's going to be angry. We don't want to make the Lord angry. We don't want to be punished by the Lord again. Like, we don't want to, basically, you just don't want to make the Lord angry. You don't. It's like you don't want to make your father angry. Because, you know, when you make him angry, he's going to chastise you. He's going to, you know, pop you, you know. And you don't like that. You don't like that pain. Except for the Lord's tens and hundreds times worse. It includes death. Maybe another 400 years of slavery. But yeah, but that's all I got on New Year and Christmas. Be sure to watch out for these. Do not let anyone tell you to follow these. Do not let anyone trick you into, hey, come over for the holidays. No. Just tell them no. Don't fall into that. Don't believe into what they're saying. But with that, I'd like to give all praise to the Son, to Yahweh and the Son, Mashiach, Wamalak Yahushai, for letting me bring this out to y'all. Lord's will, y'all understood this. With that, I'm going to say shalom.